Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. And by New Orleans Tourism Marketing Corporation, New Orleans, where stories are created. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
Good evening. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scenes. Seated at our table tonight, Poppy Tooker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. Hello, Miss Poppy.
Peg.
Hi there. We're so glad she's back. Jessica Harris, culinary historian and recent James Beard Cookbook Hall of Fame award winner. Congrats.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
excited.
Peggy.
And Alan Mason, of course, of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. First off, though, we want to recognize the passing of two of New Orleans' most beloved citizens, Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, and musician Mac Rebenot, also known as Dr. John, and the list is long, chef, civic activist, and arts patron Leah Chase. We will reflect on Dr. John's career next week, but tonight I am sitting with two dear friends of Mrs. Chase, and before we hear from them, let's hear from Leah Chase herself from the 2009 WYES documentary, New Orleans Food Memories. She talks about Holy Thursday, a tradition of eating Gumbo Zeb at her restaurant, Dookie Chase's. Here she explains some of those traditions behind the dish. When the calendar says it's Holy Thursday, for Mrs. Leah Chase, proprietor and chef of Dookie Chase's restaurant, it's the busiest day of the year. This restaurateur is about to serve the pre-Easter dish she grew up with and shares the traditions that come along with it.
Gumbo Zeb is a green gumbo, and being superstitious as we supposed to be in New Orleans, we use uneven numbers of greens, 5, 7, 9, or 11. I use 9. And we do that because they said even numbers bad luck. You can't do that. You have to use the uneven numbers. And they used to say too, old Creole say, you will acquire a new friend for every green I have in the pot.
Oh my goodness, and we should tell you that there is a public viewing on behalf of Leah Chase in her great memory on Saturday, and that will be held tomorrow at Xavier University Convocation Center from 10 to 4:30, and her burial mass service is next Monday at noon at St. Peter Claver Catholic Church in Tremé, with a visitation from 8 to 10:30 a.m. Please be advised that the church seating is very, very limited, and of course our condolences to her family. But we're feeling sad, but we're also feeling glad because we had her with us for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Leah and I got to be such good friends after Hurricane Katrina when there was just so much stuff to be done in her restaurant. And she would always say to me, oh, Poppy, if God will just give me 10 more years, maybe I can pay all these people back. God gave her almost 14 years, so it was actually a great blessing for the city.
Jessica, I know you were also a stalwart at the restaurant, but especially on Holy Thursday.
Well, yeah, I did Holy Thursday. Certainly before the storm, I used to have guests and friends, you know, Rabbit's friends and relations from in town, out of town, around town. And I had as many as 50 people there once, and we just had gumbo, and Mrs. Chase used to always be hysterical, because she would say, you know, it used to be people would come, they'd get their little cup of soup, and they'd get their fried chicken, and they go home. She said, then Jessica comes into town, and she gives a boudin. So I'm the one that did the boudin.
Well, one thing I know that she, in interviewing her, is very, very proud of is that Dookie Chase's was a place for the Black community in those days when they were not always welcomed at other restaurants, to come a special restaurant, a nicer restaurant, if you will. Also, as we well know, a real safe haven for civil rights activists, including Martin Luther King Jr.
Absolutely, and Senior. Daddy King came too.
Yeah, and she was also, I think she was the most modest person I think I ever knew.
She
you
was,
know?
and that wasn't just a restaurant. That was her home. That was the place you went to see Mrs. Chase, and she sure will be missed. But the family seems to be doing some great things with the restaurant. I'm so tickled to hear they're going to redo that upstairs room. To have a chance to go into that upstairs room where all that history happened is going to be a very special treat. I'm sure she's smiling at us.
Well, I have a show and tell in terms of there have been so many wonderful tributes to her. But actually, last carnival, I came across this. There's a young lady, her name is Jessica Watts, and she is with the Dames de Parlage. And they're a marching group, a relatively new marching group. And they actually stitched their own, this is needlepoint, their own bodice.
Oh,
and look
my.
at this. Isn't that just fantastic? So she was parading in her own tribute last carnival. But I mean, that's a lot of work. And I think she did a marvelous job, too.
That's a lot of love.
But yes, absolutely. But one thing for sure, Jessica, she knew she was loved.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, she just exuded love. You couldn't be in her presence and not feel enveloped. She was just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And such an arts patron, too. If
Oh
you
my
go
God.
to the
Art
restaurant,
was
you
the
can
thing.
see all the art
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely. The art was just amazing. I mean, I've read somewhere that it was probably one of the preeminent collections of African American art, certainly in the state of Louisiana, possibly in the country.
And now she has a foundation, so
And she
a
has
lot
a
of that will
foundation,
continue.
and a lot of that will continue.
Which is great.
Well, if anybody's like me and just would love to hear a little bit more of Leah, tomorrow's Louisiana Eats is all Leah all the time. I had the incredible good fortune of almost 9 years of interviews with her on every topic you can imagine. So we all step aside tomorrow and give Leah the microphone, and we can hear from her at 3 o'clock, Monday night at 8, and it'll be online permanently. So everybody can always have a little taste of Leah when they're missing her.
Yes. All right, Miss Poppy. And then we'll talk about this week. You've got some...
Well, some new things coming along. You know, she loved all that new stuff that all of the youngsters were coming to town with. And Domino is a new, what I know is going to be a hot spot down on St. Claude from T. Cole Newton, who I have loved since he opened up Mid-City's 12-mile limit. You know, back at the height of the expensive craft cocktail events, T. Cole came in and decided that it was okay to have a craft cocktail that cost $5, $6, $7 instead of $15. And so that's what he's been doing in Mid-City. Now he's going to do this, only with an emphasis also not just on cocktails, but on wine. He's calling it Bywater's Wine Dive Bar. It's next door to Red's Chinese and in the same block as St. Germain. And he's also going to have some nibbles, creative bar snacks like house-made pizza bagels, toaster pastries, and pressed sandwiches. But he encourages everybody to get takeout Chinese from next door. And then, of course, you know, it's time for the 33rd Annual Creole Tomato Festival. Tomorrow and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. down at the French Market. There's music on 2 stages. There's food booths in Dutch Alley and also at the Mint. But the Bloody Mary bar in Dutch Alley has 8 different versions, including a Krabby Mary that has a full-size fried soft-shell crab on it. It's only $10. You can't buy a $10 soft-shell fried crab. And then Miss Linda Green will be down there with her Yucca Mary. And don't forget to take home the first Creoles of the season. That's the whole reason for the fun. And then tickets are going to sell out for this next event, Sips of Summer at Commander's Palace. This doesn't happen until June 19th, but buy your tickets. It's from 5 until 6:30. The wine guy at Commander's, Dan Davis, is going to walk everybody through a tasting of 42 wines, including small bites from Chef Tori McPhail. It's only $49. 42 wines, $49. And Beth and her crew from Swirl Wines will be on hand for retail sales. So if there's something that you sip that you can't spend the summer without, Beth will be there to take care of you.
Thank
Wow.
you, Poppy. And Jessica, it's been a while since you've been able to be with us. And first of all, congratulations on your latest, your memoir. And I just love this. My Soul Looks Back. And I think we have a close-up of it as well. But talking about growing up in New York and your parents trying to do, as most parents, of course, the very best for you, but sending you to the best schools they could afford, and
They rolled it out.
and education, all very key. And this was at a time when that was not always the case
Well,
for
it
many
wasn't.
people.
It's still not always available to people. I happen to have been the only child of older parents who had, enjoyed their life, and so when I came along 9 years after they'd married, they, lavished everything on me. So I was just incredibly blessed with having had, education, United Nations International School, High School of Performing Arts, fame, I'm going to live forever, all sorts of other things
and
like
the people you've met along the way.
Oh,
though,
I feel
too.
like Dr. Seuss. Oh, the places you go, all the people you'll see. It has just been quite the ride. I was a travel editor for Essence magazine back in the late 70s. I was just saying, I was the first black woman to vote for the Tonys. In my youth, Father William replied to his son, was very fortunate to be the girlfriend of a gentleman who was James Baldwin's best friend. So in my 20s, I got to hang out with James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, Nina Simone, Toni Morrison. I mean, the list goes on and the mind boggles. I looked at an old address book at one point and thought, gosh, at 25, I had the phone number for Hugh Masekela and Nina Simone, and it's like, this is weird. This is really strange.
And the incredible news is also that it's been optioned for
It
a
has
film.
been optioned for a film. 2 young ladies who are hopefully going to find funding and get it out and into production, but it has been optioned.
Well, I know culinary history and cookbooks are very much a part of what you do, and congratulations. And we'll be showing the covers of some of these cookbooks over the years, but you just were acknowledged by the James Beard.
I was very, very
Awards.
fortunate. I was told that it was a unanimous acknowledgement, but my body of work, it sounds so very official, my body of work has been inducted into the James Beard Cookbook Hall of Fame. So I am honored and humbled.
Absolutely, and I know you go back and forth, but you were a part-time Orleanian and a part-time New Yorker,
Absolutely.
right? So you probably know that JetBlue flight pretty well,
very
or Delta.
well. Very well. Yeah, I think there's a chair that is, sort of sculpted to my, never mind where.
And I know you also annually are part of a food symposium at the HNOC, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Absolutely.
But thank you. It's great to see
Thank
you.
you.
And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Maria Pham gave us the names of an historic beach town and a seat of government, which are located at the western and eastern ends of the Florida Panhandle. The answers are Pensacola and Tallahassee. Now, tonight's question. 2 of Dr. John's singles climbed high on the national charts. One refers to the moment and a location. The other talks about a special evening. What are they? Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a year subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a dish towel with the message "Beer, Bourbon, and Beignets" from our friends at Wearable Vegetables, and a pair of free admission passes, boy, is this great, to either the Audubon Zoo, Aquarium of the Americas, or the Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. You can go to WYES.org for our online calendar, including free admission at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum. That's tomorrow in honor of Leah Chase. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to see our program. And now, Alan.
Well, although I was not as close as Poppy or Jessica was to Miss Leah, I did consider her fried chicken among the very best in town. It was so good, I ate it with a knife and fork. I think she understood, though, that my eating a lot of the items over there, the pork items, weren't going to go too well for me. But her chicken was plenty good enough for me. So again, my little added memorial to Miss Leah. So now back to Broadway. And we're going to make some very interesting connections to the Sunday Night Tony Awards. This time out, first of all, you probably heard me slip a little bit about my promise to name what I believe will be the best musical named this Sunday night. And I believe it will absolutely be Hadestown. It's nominated for 14 Tony Awards. It's my choice to win. It's an amazing cast starring Ava Noblezada as Eurydice, Reeve Carney as Orpheus, Amber Gray as Persephone, Patrick Page as Hades, and Andre DeShields as Hermes. And this particular show takes the Greek legends of Orpheus and Eurydice and Hades and Persephone and you put some of it together, brings it all together with New Orleans style jazz. It's my pick for a number of reasons, primarily the music and the poetry by Anais Mitchell and the incredible director by Rachel Chavkin, who should also win for Best Director. I took Tony Award winner Katie Huffman with me. We both enjoyed the particular program so much. It was really an unusual show, unlike any other you'll see on Broadway these days. And I got the feeling much after leaving this, like Hadestown was very much to me like Les Miserables the first time I saw it, as well as Hamilton. So get your tickets now. It's probably going to be on for a long, long time. Now, as Katie and I were leaving Hadestown, who do we run into but another Tony Award winner and, again, a nominee this year, Julie White, who's a nominee for Gary, a sequel to Titus Andronicus. Tony Award winners just meeting on the street, as it were. And then, of course, I saw one of Katie's other friends, George Salazar, who plays the role of Michael. That's the song Michael in the Bathroom from Be More Chill. That was also, one of my connections there. But the next two you're going to see, actually the next three, are really New Orleans connections. And I wanted to mention two-time Tony winner and New Orleanian by choice, Michael Cerveris, was my guest to see Tootsie at the Marquee Theater with me. We had a good night out afterwards. And right after I saw the prom on Saturday, a couple of weeks ago at the Longacre, I went to Sardi's, and who did I say hello to but none other than Tony Award producer Sue Vaccaro, another New Orleanian native, okay? And for the strangest connection, I have to say, this is bizarre. I'm waiting in line to see Beetlejuice, and who walks by me but none other than Brian Sands, another fellow local critic and a member of the Big Easy Theater Committee with me. So again, there's all that connection to the Tonys, and of course, all of these people from New Orleans are still up in New York, as is Jessica, I guess. So,
And it's on tomorrow night on CBS.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely. It'll be on actually Sunday night. And
Sunday
again,
night, rather, yeah.
it will be a wonderful time. Take your time out for Sunday to go watch the Tonys. Now, this is also the closing weekend for How to Kill a Diva. This is the world premiere, which is being produced by JPAS in West Wego. It's written by Glenn Bailey. The stars of this, really are very well connected, incredible group of performers led by no less than Rachel Looney, who's got a wonderful voice, Jennifer DeLatte as well, and Enrico Canella. He's the recent winner of the Big Easy Award for leading actor. He played the role of Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. How to Kill a Diva. Well, I found the production, really high in values. It does need some workshopping. Some cuts really need to be made along the way. It's a very impressive work for right now. I believe it will develop into a tighter production. Claire Shackelford, who plays the diva in question, and Robert Wagner, who plays the maestro, named, I'm not making this up, Denarto Asafino. We all know Dennis Asaf had his hand in that. They're very good in their roles, but I believe they were the weaker of the cast. Again, How to Kill a Diva also has some other notables in it. Chris Wecklund, who turns in a marvelous comic performance as Gustav Dreyer, and we'll talk about Mr. Dreyer later, I guess. Jake Wilson was also in it. You may remember him as a leading man. He plays really great against Rachel Looney. Again, she proves that she has one of the most exquisite voices in New Orleans, and I could hear her sing the phone book. Music is by Donna Clavijo as far as the direction, and a book by Wesley Payne, Ricky Holmes, and Glenn Bailey. Good effort, and I'm certain it will blossom with a little bit more rewriting. Final shows are this weekend. Meanwhile, just announced, Jersey Boys, one of our favorites that ever come to the Sanger Theater. It's going to be returning once again for a short weekend run that'll be in March of 2020 to go along with the rest of the Sanger season. Again, check that out as well. And I think right now, it's just Tony right now. That's all I'm looking for.
Absolutely. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. And tonight we are featuring the work of artist Billy Solitario. This is, look at this. This is Citrus and the Stone. It looks three-dimensional. And of course, Billy refers to himself as a classical realist. Solitario enjoys painting coastal scenes of both Louisiana and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And this is Crab on Yellow Bowl 2. And you can see these and more of Solitario's work in the new exhibit Southern Feast, running now through July 27th at Lemieux Galleries. Visit the gallery's website for more information. There's also a wonderful coastal cookbook by Pelican, as a matter of fact, with paintings of his too. Now it's time for our picks. Poppy.
Well, the 25th annual temperature lunch has returned to Palace Cafe as of June 1st. Now it's at the Bourbon House and Tableau too. The price of the two-course lunch is the high temperature from the day before. And don't forget the first annual Blueberry Fest tomorrow from 10 till 7 at Bogafilaya Park in Covington.
All right, Jessica.
Well, the Historic New Orleans Collection Food Forum is usually held on this weekend. However, it is now moved to November 2nd, so we haven't gone away. We've just postponed a little bit till November 2nd, and the subject is wine. So stay tuned. We'll be back.
Sounds good. Alan.
Well, the cover subject of Poppy's latest book to come out, Vince Santos, is going to have his returning production of Marquis. That'll be on, I guess it's Saturday and Sunday, so check that out at Le Petit. And meanwhile, I want to remind everybody, because it's coming up very soon and only going to have a short weekend run, is Kinky Boots, one of my favorite shows from Broadway, with music by Cyndi Lauper and a book by Harvey Fierstein. It returns to the Sanger from June the 14th through the 16th.
You know, I have to say, Alan, we can't take the Sanger for granted. It is amazing how much stuff we're able to see.
Absolutely. And, you know, people don't realize this. The Sanger has a larger seating capacity than any theater on Broadway.
Really?
Absolutely. The biggest house on Broadway is 1935. That's Gershwin Theater, and the Sanger has over 2,200
And I can
seats.
tell you the seats are more comfortable. Whoa. Some of those Broadway, that was, it was built for little people a long time ago.
At the Sanger, there may be stars on the stage, but they're also on the ceiling.
That's right. That's right. And my picks, the National World War II Museum is holding special events on Saturday, of course, in honor of the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Visit their website for more information. And another amazing event happening this weekend, New Orleans Pride, a series of events raising awareness of the local LGBT community, and it's taking place this weekend. Visit togetherwenola.org/pride to see a list of scheduled events, including a parade. A new edition of Chris Champagne's satirical comedy show, A Certain Girl, What's Her Name, Can't Tell Ya, okay, will be this Sunday night at the Monkey Hill Bar Annex on Magazine Street. By the way, that's a great space. I went to see the Michelle Legrand tribute last night. Admission is $15 at the door. And looking ahead, the Ancient Order of Hibernians will be holding a silent auction and live charity auction next Friday at Southport Hall on Monticello Avenue. Call the number on your screen or email LouisianaAOH@AOHLA.com to purchase tickets. You can also get them at the door, open bar and buffet. Among the many amazing items up for auction, dinner cooked for you and 9 friends by Chef Kevin Belton, wherever you want. A signed Tom Dempsey football, whoa, condo, hotel stays, and a 1-hour concert by the Dukes of Dixieland performing at your chosen location. The list is really long. And then, finally, the local music group Lyrica Baroque. We love Sarah Jane and all of her friends and colleagues. They present Opera Fusion, where chamber music meets operatic drama. It's also next Friday night, including Ravel's piano trio and hidden gem arias from the Baroque period. The evening takes place at the old Ursuline Convent in St. Mary's Church on Charter Street, featuring Sarah J. McMahon, wonderful soprano, cellist Daniel Elchuk, and other talented artists. Visit Lyrica Baroque's website for more information. And before we go, I just wanted to take a few moments to kind of look ahead in terms of the Dookie chase of the legacy and the dynasty of all of that. Things are hopping, and apparently the hours of Dookie chases is going to expand.
Finally.
And,
that was such a battle, you know. She would say all the time, oh, my children won't let me. I just want to open up for dinner. I don't know why I can't. Well, they were just kind of take care of
didn't
her,
want to
I
poop
think,
her out,
because she wouldn't have left that restaurant if they'd been open for dinner.
And
But
also at the airport currently, and in the new airport,
yes,
some additions.
and there's going to be a restaurant named after her at that new
Leah's
airport. Yeah, Leah's Kitchen. And I think it's, you know, Duke, her grandson, was trained at the Cordon Bleu, so he's got great culinary chops, and she's even got grandchildren who own Popeyes franchises in Atlanta. So that is a food
Really?
family,
And her
I know
daughter
they're.
Stella will continue to be at the helm.
And
one of the
Tracy will
managers.
be there, her granddaughter. Things will be the same and yet not the same.
Yes, and of course, many folks already know this, but she has a daughter named Leah Chase, who is a very talented singer and teacher, and then her daughter is Chase Kamada,
Correct.
who is another very talented.
Won the very first Stage Door Idol competition, Chase Kamada.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. And it was a
okay.
Victory Bell. So, yeah, absolutely. There's talent in that family all over. My
Extraordinary
family goes back, with the record shop, when we used to have SNS Productions, we used to sell tickets through Dookie Chase's because that was an outlet for the community there.
And the other thing, and I mean, we could go on because there's so much history, but in the days before Zulu had a set path, it used to stop over by Dookie Chase's, and there used to be a toast there as well.
That's the Mardi Gras Day
yes,
I will
yeah.
never forget. Mardi Gras Day 2006. I never thought I'd find myself in Leah Chase's FEMA trailer making ham sandwiches, waiting for Zulu to come. And that's what we did that day. So.
My goodness. Oh. Well, once again, Jessica, it's great to have you.
Thank you for
And please
having
come
me.
back again soon. Thank you all very much. And thank you so much for watching. Good night.
This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area. And by New Orleans Tourism Marketing Corporation, New Orleans, where stories are created. Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich.